For most of modern history, economic power followed resources, oil, minerals, coal, trade routes. But the 21st century may follow something else: stability. Modern economies were built during an unusually stable climate, reliable rainfall, predictable seasons, stable coastlines, all a stark reality at the time. But for thousands of years, this stability is what allowed cities, infrastructures, and global trade routes to scale exponentially, and hence the globally interconnected world. But economic historians and climate scientists note that agricultural and industrial expansion occurred during relatively stable climate conditions. And are we in a relatively stable climate condition today? No, we're not. Not anymore. So what changes? Well, our economic systems assume stability. Why? Because they're optimized for it. And what happens when that stability breaks? Well,
They're coming for you.
systems become a lot more expensive. So infrastructure needs upgrades, and insurance premiums rise, and supply chains shift, and food production fluctuates. So what do? Well, if you leave alone the heat, the water stress, the insurance retreat, the economic relocation, you're left with the stark reality that none of these are isolated problems. They are by no means separate. They are symptoms of instability. So, what now? Well, how about we start with addressing a couple of uncomfortable truths? Fair enough? Uncomfortable truth number 1. Location matters again. What do I mean? Well, for decades, globalization reduced the importance of geography. Cheap labor and logistics mattered a lot more. Now, however, we are living in a day and age where climate exposure is putting geography back in charge. Climate risk assessment increasingly influence investments, insurance, and infrastructure decisions. It turns out that the atmosphere is not impressed with our economic theories, and hence it asks us to make a new economic map. So as risks rise, capital starts to look for stability again. And what defines this stability? Well, reliable water, reliable energy, and also reliable climate conditions. So regions with lower exposure, they will attract investment. And regions with higher exposure, they will struggle to retain investment. As a matter of fact, corporate strategy and financial risk models increasingly incorporate climate stability metrics in everything that they do. So, stability attracts everything. And when a region proves that it's stable, 3 things are bound to follow: investment, talent, and infrastructure. These 3 things reinforce each other, which in turn attracts prosperity. And the opposite spiral happens in unstable regions. Which brings me to uncomfortable truth number 2. Adaptation reduces risk. It does not eliminate it. Some regions will still face higher exposure due to sheer geography. Economic modeling suggests uneven climate impacts are bound to happen across regions, which means economic advantages, they may shift globally. So in the future, stability may become a competitive advantage. Cities compete for businesses. Countries compete for talent. Regions compete for investment. And stability makes all those decisions a lot easier. But climate stability is not just luck. It can be engineered. What are certain examples, you might ask? Well, resilient infrastructure, water management, urban cooling, diversified energy systems, and even disaster preparedness are all factors that can be engineered. Resilience research shows proactive planning significantly reduces risk, which directly speaks to uncomfortable truth number 3. Some regions afford stability more easily than others. So where infrastructure is expensive, adaptation is expensive, planning can take decades, which means stability will soon become a privilege and not something that can just be taken for granted. In the past, economic power followed resources. In the future, it may follow stability. Stable climate, stable water, stable energy. And the regions that protect those foundations may shape the next era of prosperity. If this video changed how you see climate and economics, subscribe. This is Noviksgiven. We explain the systems shaping everyday lives long before they break. Or at least we try to. I'll see you in the next one.